Hey guys, Frack here from the Frack and Friends Show. Today's episode consists of two special individuals. First of all, these guys are amazing. This episode was so much fun. We dive deep into the 90s, the 2000s, their favorite music, their movies, boy bands, and especially Jesse Mccartney. Please welcome Joe and Tonya. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure getting, what I call people all the time, and don't take offense, but regular people on the show.
No, we're
peasants. but this is what I live for. This is what the show, this is the breath of the show, is having individuals like yourself, being able to have a conversation about things that, we both love. So let's go ahead and first start off with an introduction. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Just tell us a little about yourselves.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Joe, and obviously this is my wife, Tonya. We're both from the same town, Catoosa, which is an outskirt of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And we met in third grade when we were kids in elementary school. And then through the years, we kind of kept in contact. But then whenever we graduated, I got a Facebook just to find a girlfriend. And she was the first person I talked to. I deleted my Facebook shortly thereafter because I completed my mission. So,
come on. How long have y'all been together?
Since we got together.
In 2010.
Yeah, November 2010.
Wow.
We got married in June 2013. No, May 2013.
Yeah.
That's okay. Sometimes you get a little mixed up with anniversaries. That's amazing. That's incredible, guys. That's a long time to be together with someone.
We have 4 dogs.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's the greatest. Let's go ahead. My favorite thing ever, of course, is the 90s and 2000s. I love the 80s. I love the 70s. I love the 40s, man. Yeah. I know people don't even know the music of the 40s today, but I love the 40s and 50s and, the Four Seasons and different things like that. But I want to just go ahead and start, with you guys discussing the 1990s. Let's start with the 90s, and then we'll move into the thousands with Jesse Mccartney. But what were you guys listening to in the 90s? What were you guys watching?
Hanson. Because they're from Tulsa. And so my aunt discovered them because they were just, not famous or anything yet. And so they were just little kids, little bitty. And I was probably about 4 or 5. And we would go everywhere they would go and just, I even chased Zach around the fair, just things like that. And it's just, I followed them through their career and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all,
they were famous.
I've never met anyone who told me they chased around Hanson and just follow them everywhere because it's always
doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
has she really?
We haven't seen him in a long time. Her cousin does, though.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm going to be seeing Hanson.
City to city like a roadie almost.
Wow. I'm going to be seeing Hanson in July. I think the 15th of July in New Orleans.
Oh, cool.
Very first time, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Very first time.
They're really good too.
So how many times have you seen Hanson?
Oh my gosh. A lot of times.
I've never seen him except for TV.
Yeah. Probably that singer, probably, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, that is TV.
Oh, yeah. That's incredible, man. Yeah. And you got to see them. I'm not even going to say at their prime because I think they're incredible today.
They are.
Their vocals, especially in Bop.
Yes.
Was it Taylor? Remarkable. And even, was it Zach?
Yep.
His vocals, blows him away every single time. But Hanson was such a big thing, right? Growing up in the late 90s especially. But Hanson was this huge thing. They had Bop. They had Man from Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
They had, oh, man. But, that's so crazy that because this is the very first time that I'm meeting someone who isn't saying Backstreet Boys or New Kids.
Exactly.
There's a new favorite here, and it's Hanson. And I feel Hanson has never gotten the respect the way the boy bands and such have.
Because they kind of just shoot them away a little bit, and it was like they're still good. They're still doing their stuff.
They're kind of marginalized in that one section.
Oh yeah,
Bop.
Yeah.
Even though they have other songs that are.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, have you ever heard of the song "I Will Come to You"?
Yes, that's
one of the greatest songs I've ever heard in my life.
Yes.
And I like it the way they do it now versus when they sing it, as kids.
Yeah.
But like, and now, it's Taylor, on the piano doing it, just, man, that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You were listening to Hanson. What were you listening to, Joe?
Pantera, Megadeth, a lot of Metallica, Behemoth. Because my cousins were into all the like heavy metal, Ozzy.
Yeah.
But my dad and my grandparents were into a lot of bluegrass, a lot of Southern gospel. Both my grandpa, or my great grandpa and his daughter, my grandma, they both sang Southern gospel in his church for a long time. And so that's always a book that kind of carries on. So even though I'm not really into the religion thing, I do enjoy watching or listening to gospel music on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
I go to work because I work every other weekend. So on my way to work, I usually listen to old gospel music. I've only heard my grandpa on the radio once, but he sang in like the 50s and 60s. So
hey, that's incredible, man.
A distant legend. But a lot of country music, being from Tulsa, Vince Gill, Joe Diffie, Toby Keith, Garth Brooks.
Don't forget about Garth, man.
Yeah, George Strait. I mean, there's too many of them, honestly. And I also love a lot of, especially because all the things I listen to now are almost the same 400 songs I listened to as a child.
Definitely.
Because anything before 2001 is usually what I listen to.
Ooh, see, I'm kind of
put it in a little section.
Yeah, because I grew up. I was born in '92. And so my music really and truly starts about 96, 97 to about 2005, 2000, maybe up to 2007.
Like down type of era like that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really into rap or anything like that, but I was into like mostly pop.
Okay.
I love Scott Stapp. Love Creed. Things like that. I love Evanescence growing up. Still do. I saw her a few years ago, and
first time I seen her was on the back of a Daredevil VHS, the one with Ben Affleck. That was the song for the movie. And I remember watching the movie and then be like, "Oh crap, what is this song?" It was so cool. I mean, I've heard it so many times now. I'm like, it's like a 50% chance I might change the channel. But sometimes
it just depends on my mood, and which. It's an incredible thing because, at that era, I kind of grew up, the music that, the time or the era that I stopped listening to like the updated or today's music was when autotune started being used incorrectly, the T-Pain effect. That was the point where even Maroon 5 had started changing their sound. And don't get me wrong, Maroon 5, Girls Like You, pretty amazing song, pretty spectacular, I would say. But a lot of artists started just revolving and changing their sound, and for the good and for the bad. It wasn't just all auto-tune incorrectly all the time. But I got to the point where I turned the radio on and said, okay, who's singing? Because it sounds like T-Pain.
It's a little inauthentic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And thankfully we got through that stage, but it's too late. It's too late for me. Like, and I listen to any, when Eminem comes out with a new song or something, 100% you got my ears.
Yeah, I usually find it in the
but let's talk about this 90s thing, okay? When it comes down to, let's say, movies, film, television, what were you guys watching then?
A lot of Nickelodeon for sure, like Rugrats, Hey Arnold.
Mostly Toonami.
That's incredible, man.
He was my obsession when I was like 7. And now I'm 30 and it's still there.
Yeah. Which is another point that we can kind of throw in here is, we're still watching those things.
Yeah.
Like,
and they have new episodes and stuff, or they did. But.
Yeah, no. Like, I know like Paramount, right? When I was growing up, iCarly was a big thing, and all these different shows. Now Disney and Paramount and Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, they're all bringing back the stuff we watched.
Exactly.
And it's incredible.
Like, they can't come up with new ideas, but you're like, well, those aren't bad ideas either.
Exactly. And truthfully, I was most mind blown when Disney canceled the Lizzie McGuire reboot because they didn't want to make it the way basically iCarly is with cursing, with language and sexual things.
Mm-hmm.
And although I will say I don't want to see that. I'm all about remembering and keeping Lizzie McGuire in a glass jar the way she was for my whole life. And so because I'll tell you this, I was able to watch about 3 or 4 episodes of iCarly, but I was too crushed because I said, this isn't who I grew up with. I know she's a grown up now, but this isn't who and it was some
taints memory almost.
Yeah, it does. It really taints it in every way because it's just not, what it was. And same thing comes with music, right? Like we have these bands who come out with new albums and they were, let's just say, the biggest in the 90s. And not even talking about Backstreet Boys, because I think Backstreet Boys is, they're selling out arenas every tour, no problems. You can't really go much bigger than that, but we have musicians today who change their sound, who releases an album and it's like terrible because it's not what we remember. It's not that sound and
try to reinvent themselves, but it's not entirely genuine.
And don't get me wrong, reinventing yourself and changing your sound can be a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you a perfect example, the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, their last album, we got Vicky and I went to see them in Texas, and they were amazing. And I've listened to the Happiness Begins album quite a lot beforehand, but seeing it live, a little bit part of me had thought, okay, well, they changed the sound a little bit, but they still sound like Jonas Brothers. But then you see them perform and you're like, they haven't changed a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy though. But I grew up, of course, on Disney and Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. And of course, the big 3. And then you have, of course, you have the channels with Family Matters and TBS and things and Full House, not Fuller.
Exactly.
We had some local shows like we had Uncle Zeb, which was a children's show that I was on. She actually, my dad had a videotape of it, and she watched the tape so many times it broke the ribbon on the inside.
Come on,
she didn't watch it anymore. I was like 5 years old.
He was so cute, I couldn't help it.
I did the same thing with the Millennium VHS tapes from Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I definitely. Hey, let's just say how thankful we are that not even DVDs happen, but streaming is here.
Yeah.
At a click of a button, you can have anything you want, mostly anything you desire, and just a click of a button. No more skipping unless you have terrible internet.
Yeah.
But hey, do you remember the time with dial-up?
Oh yeah, it was bad because anytime you try to sneak downstairs and you go to turn it on, it'd be like, and then they know what you were doing upstairs, playing games or something,
Yeah, and they're like, can you get off the internet? I need to use the phone.
Yes.
How times have changed, right?
Yeah.
And now you have the power of the gods in your hands at all times.
I constantly tell people the same thing, it is the power of the gods, because man, there's nothing you can't do. And it's scary. It's scary saying that, but like for me, being able to control my lights, right? One click of a button, unless my light doesn't work, which is starting to go out for some reason. But
your house doors, that's a little freaky.
Yeah. Oh, someone's ringing my doorbell. Hold on. Oh, okay. But do you guys remember the time when people spoke to one another? Not at church, just in general. Hello. How's your day?
I worked at an apartment complex. I'm a maintenance guy in an apartment complex.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm the guy who gives the notices and goes inside people's apartments and fixes stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have this compulsion that when I lock eyes with someone, I have to acknowledge them. I've gotten better as I've gotten older, because a lot of times someone comes up to you and you start talking and you're just got home from work or you're on your way to work. And here's this goofy guy coming up, hey, how you doing? How's it going? And that's the last thing they want is me coming up in their business. So now I kind of be a little more strategic on it. As soon as I lock eyes, I have to say something and talk to them. And I really enjoy conversation though. So.
Me too. I'm a guy who's not shy. I I love performing and singing and dancing in front of people. I could do it in crowds, no problem. But my favorite thing is conversating with people. Yeah. I absolutely love, like, even this is my favorite, my favorite part of the day, today was like being able to sit down and speak to you, because it's fun.
Looking forward to it all day.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. And I don't know, like, you never know how people are going to be, but I'm always optimistic and saying this is probably going to be the best episode. Like, no matter who I bring on, whether it's, like you said, peasants or this big celebrity or such. And, but it's just incredible to have this platform to kind of take it back with individuals. And, cause like I just said, no one's story, no story is the same. Like I said, the majority of people tell me Backstreet Boys are NSYNC or New Kids as well. Yeah. But to hear Hanson for the very first time, and to hear Slipknot or Metallica and such, like, that's it's new. Which by the way, Metallica is still remarkable.
Metallica is like the Michael Jackson of heavy metal. Like, it's like 1A, 1B. In terms of their genre, at least.
I definitely agree with you, man, because
I guess Ozzy is too, but Metallica's more well known.
Yeah.
Like, dun, dun, dun. Oh, I know what that
is. Dude, it's so good too, because like I remember my exposure to Metallica was probably with the game Rock Band.
Okay. Mine was the Black Album. It was Wherever You May Roam.
Yeah.
Or Wherever I May Roam.
Yeah.
And my cousin was listening to it in his car on a VHS or a cassette tape, and I was like, "Holy crap, what is that?" And then that was it.
That was it. You were hooked.
Yeah. But that was because from what I heard all before, it was just country and the gospel, like I was telling you.
Yeah.
So I was definitely molded by the sound of heavy metal for sure.
And
I was in a band too in high school.
Oh, you see, I've always wanted to join a band. Recently, I was thinking about putting an ad in a newspaper looking for 4 individuals who want to be in a boy band, but I don't think that's going to work out so well. But I've been trying my whole life to join a boy band. I've been working really hard at it, and I've gotten nowhere. But like, what's best is, I'm just in my studio and able to perform and sing to an audience on Facebook.
Yeah. I have a couple songs on YouTube that I put up there. I wouldn't say I'm a rapper, but I enjoy making words rhyme and putting it to stuff. And I have capellas and stuff.
Yeah, man. I actually, growing up, man, especially with YouTube, over 10 years plus, like I had this big YouTube channel. I say it's big because it has like 180 subscribers. Okay. and it's me doing covers, and it's me doing like there's a couple of them that I'm doing raps, and but I also love making words rhyme.
I can't freestyle very well. Like I'm so good at memorizing that I have to memorize it. So I don't consider myself a rapper because I can't just freestyle without overthinking it way too much.
I usually can.
A long way.
I remember hanging out at my friend's house as a young teenagers, and they used to just say a word, and I used to go about it, and I used to do the Eminem thing where he would say like, orange, you going to go to the store. Like I used to like break it down, and things like that, and I still do it every now and then, like when I'm home alone, But
a lot of my stuff's usually like stories or something. Like I've been working on. It's about a martial artist. I'm kind of stuck, like a third of the way through. There's a certain verse at the end that I just can't push past. Like I just stuck at that one. I keep coming up with other things, but it just loses the tone or just the whole intention that I'm wanting to put forth, and I just say, well, it's done. Like a third of the way through.
Man, look, it takes time, man. All good things take time to put together, and that includes raps. unless you're Eminem, unless you're Lil Wayne. I know. Exactly. I know Lil Wayne doesn't even write on paper. I think Eminem's the same way as well. He just goes in the studio and he's like, all right, press record, and he just, all right, we done.
He goes about doing his thing.
but growing up for you guys, I know you kind of gave us a little bit of background, but what was the most, or who were the most impactful people when it came down to like television and film for you? I know you just said like martial arts. So was there like, people like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, things like that you really just enjoyed watching?
Yeah, like I love Unleashed. That was one of my favorites when I was younger.
Get him.
Yeah, and plus I love Bob Hoskins, from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So he's always one of my favorites. And
he was incredible.
Actually, Tai Lung is one of my.
Yeah.
He's from the Shaw Brothers, so.
Oh yeah.
He did a lot of good movies, and there's just so many. But yeah, a lot of. I mean, Bruce Lee was always a big one. Yeah. But I had already seen those like with other people, and it's like the main show you would watch.
Definitely.
Going to someone's house watching movies. Pulp Fiction, but I think that's kind of a generic.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Pulp Fiction, man. I watched that the other night, man. I'm telling you, even now,
I'm still like, what's in the briefcase? Trying to rewind and like looking at the TV in a different direction.
Well, the 4K Blu-ray should be out soon. Maybe we'll see some more details, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man, because growing up for me, I was really, my dad really educated me about film. He really taught me or showed me films of the 50s and 60s and 70s. And but of course, like when it comes down to martial arts, man, Bruce Lee, loved The Way of the Dragon with him and Chuck Norris, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
That one is legendary. It's
Chuck Norris.
Yeah. I mean, but like me growing up, it would be Jet Li and Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Those two.
Is good. I like that one.
I mean, even with Jet Li, like I remember growing up, I remember him on Jay Leno because, there was a lot of accusations of, oh, they're speeding up the film. That's why he's so fast.
Yeah.
And I just remember it might have been Unleashed. It was one of these even like most recent ones, just a decade or so ago. But actually, no, I'm sorry. It was Lethal Weapon. Whenever he did Lethal Weapon, his first American film, and they were having trouble, with the camera keeping up with him because he was so fast, And so I remember him going on Jay Leno for Romeo Must Die for the press junket, and he did a demonstration, and I'm gonna send it to you guys. It's incredible because like you realize this dude moves that fast,
Yeah.
Tonya, what were some people? Was it the Olsen twins or
Well, who was it for me?
Well, the Patriot is one of her obsessions.
Yeah.
With Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 2000. It's almost 90s.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh my goodness, like I'm about to cry. It's like the Patriot is one of my all-time favorite films in history.
Yes, like it beats anything. Like, I mean, anything I watch, I'm like, nope, Patriot.
Oh my goodness. So I used to have that on repeat for years and years and years. And I grew up with Heath Ledger before The Dark Knight. Yes. I know there's not a lot of people, especially my age, who did that, but I was introduced to him in 2000.
Knight's Tale is one of my favorites.
Oh my goodness. See, 10 Things I Hate About You was my introduction.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love that one.
I just don't like that girl. I forget her name. But she's
Julia Stiles?
Yeah, for some reason her face.
That's my baby.
Each of their own.
No, man. Look, that was my introduction. And by the time 2001 came around, I had Two Hands, which was 1997. Before 10 Things, I had, and I still do, like I still have every single VHS of Heath Ledger, and DVD and Blu-ray. But it's, man, Heath Ledger, just overtook like this huge part of my life because I was so excited, especially for The Patriot, because I always found a huge respect and love for Mel Gibson.
Yes,
and there's so many people in that movie, like Jason Isaac.
I didn't realize till you rewatch it when you get older. You're like, I know him, I know him.
I'm like but now we're like, well, he's dead.
Exactly.
He's racist.
It's like growing up, where we were, I was watching things in the 70s, right, in the early 2000s, and my dad was like, yep, he died, and now we're doing that. You have the same age.
Contemporaries, like 20-year-olds, are dying like that. So I saw one kid from 911 Austin or Lone
I saw that, right?
Oh, he died recently, which I didn't watch the show, but it's still sad.
Yeah. And he was very young, very, very young. Yeah. And I mean, even Heath Ledger was 28.
Yeah.
You know,
27, that's the curse.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the saddest thing ever. Cause I was thinking about, I have weekly conversations with people about Heath Ledger. It's so crazy, but and I said some of the craziest thing. I said one of the craziest things. I said, I'm older than Heath Ledger will ever be. And that's crazy, man. Because the guy had started hit after hit after hit. And man, if he was alive today, his career would still be the same. I really do feel, even after Dark Knight.
He might be in some of the movies that we already enjoy. Yeah. Like maybe he was in Wolf of Wall Street or something instead of DiCaprio. Or
just to think about that.
Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, Leo did good, but
yes. Yeah, which, by the way, I mean, Leo is, all about the 90s, man, before Titanic, before Titanic, there was many.
Romeo and Juliet, that was a good one, too. I watched that one.
I started watching rated R movies when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, the first movie I'd ever watched, I shouldn't have watched, was Day of the Dead with my aunt.
That's all?
Like 6 or 7. And whenever they cut his hand off, that stuck with me for a while. After he gets bit, and I'm like 7 years old, like, let's watch a zombie movie. And then all of a sudden they're just hacking at his arm.
My goodness.
For a few years.
I don't think, I mean, my first movie, man, that's a great question. What my first movie for rated R?
I got a hold of you.
No, not really. I mean, Scream was my first one.
Scream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, see, I would to say Scream would probably be my first one too. Yeah. Hello, Sydney.
Exactly.
I did a scary movie right after. I've seen that.
Oh yeah, and that just made it like funny and
like it was almost hard to watch it and take it seriously in retrospect.
Oh yeah, and then Scream 2 comes out and it's the greatest sequel besides Spider-Man 2 of all time. And what was it? I think the third one was when Sydney answers and she's like, what do you want? And he's like, hello, Sydney, welcome to the previews. It's so, man, which by the way, let's just throw a little fit for a second. Nev Campbell won't be returning for the newest Scream. What are your thoughts on that?
We watched the most recent one.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. I must have been drunk.
We watched just a little bit of it, but it was pretty good.
And that just sucks. Like you want her to stay in the series.
She's the face of Scream, right?
Do they kill her off in the other one? I can't remember or not.
The last one, she comes to save the day in the last 20 minutes.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So they do like Friday the 13th Part 2, where she's like in the opening scene, and then she's dead, and then that's it.
That would be, dude. If they end up killing Sydney, I probably would have to walk out because I'd be heaving and unable to breathe.
I want my money back.
Yes.
But that's it's actually being filmed right now in Toronto or somewhere.
Okay.
They just started about 2.5 weeks ago, so that should be available next year, probably March or maybe April or May. But I'm very curious of where they're going to go with it. But one of the greatest things growing up for us was all the sequels and trilogies now. But nowadays that's gotten a little out of control.
Effect, I think is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, everything.
$1 billion movie, $1 billion movie. I'd make them if I could.
Everything has to be, a continuation or have a scene at the end of the credits to
the universe.
Yeah, and I just like the simplicity of, will there be another Spider-Man after Spider-Man 2 because of how great it was? And then we got a third, and we won't talk about it much, but is it the worst thing ever? No. But is it bad? Yes.
When I was I think I was 13, 14 maybe. It came out like 2006. I forget what year it came out.
Yeah.
But I remember watching it and liking it in theaters, just like I did Phantom Menace when I watched it in theaters.
Oh,
I loved it. But then I watched it again. I rented it from Blockbuster, sitting at home watching it, and you're like, this is like half the movie I thought it was.
Yes, I do agree.
Back to the big screen and stuff makes everything better.
That's actually a true fact for me because I have a theater room in the house, and when I go see a movie in the theaters, I normally don't like it because I can't hear it or it's so pixelated and just 1990s quality, right? And then I come here and I have like 12 speakers and a big 120-inch screen, and I'm just like, this is the best movie ever.
You're there with them.
Yeah.
You're still in Jurassic Park when
I'm like, he's reaching for me. But which, I haven't seen Jurassic because I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till about 45 days, which is another thing, right? Like, man, do you remember when movies took like 6 months, 8 months to come out on VHS?
Yeah, I used to talk about it when we go to Walmart. We'd go inside and like, oh yeah, I love that movie. 6 more months, it'd be here on VHS, and go pick it up. Or Blockbuster would get it early or something.
Oh yeah. No, and it's crazy because now everything's about 31 to 45 days after it releases, which is, which by the way, one of the coolest and craziest movies recently was The Northman. That came out 22 days after it released. It went to Vudu, iTunes, and everything. 22 days after theaters. I
wonder if it had a bad box office.
It did, but it was a great movie. It's got like a 87% Rotten Tomatoes, like high scores. It's just really gory, and it's about the kind of like the Vikings.
Yeah, I like Viking stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about this for a second. But like when it comes down to gaming, when did your time of gaming start?
My time was. Well, initially it was Super Nintendo. That was like 94, 95. When I'm old enough to really start developing memories and stuff. And they were always playing Donkey Kong. And
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. My grandma did have an old Atari that she would bring out every now and then. And it was it wasn't Pac-Man, it was Pong. But it was a dial and stuff. But it was like connected into the console where it came out. It may have been like a rip-off Atari or something, but it was like an old brown box.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Super Nintendo, and then like shortly thereafter, PlayStation came out, and then the N64. And I got the N64 for Christmas, which is pretty cool.
Me too.
I ended up playing a Star Fox so much to where I just could, like the joystick on the controller was just floppy, where you shake the controller.
Wow. And Star Fox is the controller killer.
Yeah, and I have an old Dreamcast sitting right next to me, actually.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah, I used to do some streaming, but I never could get the balance of playing games and focusing on the game and talking to her. Yeah. She's my only fan. And,
hey, that's good, man. But if you have one fan, you're doing it right.
Yeah, okay. And she'd actually stay with me.
Yes.
And then I just haven't done it a handful of times. I just never could.
Yeah.
Get into it, maybe I might try again, but
yeah. No, I mean, I started with really PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64 were my two back-to-back kind of things. But Star Fox, by the way, I was watching gameplay of it today because I was thinking about it. I watched Star Wars earlier, and I said, man, it's been a while since I played Star Fox, 20 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah, I have quite the game console collection.
Oh, man, that's incredible, man.
I play them on my Twitch sometimes, or I did.
Yeah.
PlayStation and stuff.
That really just brings me back, period, man.
I'm stuck in the past. All are based on the show.
We really all are. And I tell people all the time, they're like, I tell people, I sound like the cranky grandpa, right? And I'm like, hey, I just don't like today's music. I don't like today's movies. I don't like today's clothing. I don't like today's decisions. So I feel I'm always sucking. And it's okay. It's perfectly okay. I have, I have like 7,000, songs on my Spotify, and 6,000 plus are stuff from the 60s to 90s. Yeah. I don't really get especially today's generation of music. I don't get it at all.
But the thing is, I kind of feel the same way, especially when I go to my job. They live there, and so the kids are out of school. They're in the summertime right now, and they want to just pull my beard out of my chin because they just destroy everything. But mostly when they're recording stuff, like they're always, anytime they destroy anything, it's always being documented. So at least there's proof.
Yeah,
I don't have access to it. But if they're like jumping off the dog toys or like the Transformer boxes or swinging from the fence at the pool, so everything has to be documented.
Yeah.
And I guess they post it online and do all that stuff. So before it was more of just being mischievous because you're a kid. Now you're being mischievous because it gets you a following or some kind of cloud or something like that. I may be oversimplifying it, but
no, it's true.
I sound like the old grandpa myself. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my MySpace.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and dive into Jesse McCartney. First of all, Tonya, I want you to tell me your background with Jesse McCartney from the beginning.
Okay. Actually, the funny story was my mom was watching All My Children, and I was like, I was kind of watching, because, I don't watch that stuff really, and I was like, who is he? And I was like, he's cute. So then I was like, I'll just, see who he is and all that. But I didn't know really who he was because, you didn't have Google and everything. But then it was like not too long after that, then, he was in Dream Street, and it was like, that's the guy.
Wow.
And then I became overly obsessed. Like I have a VHS of them in concert, and I know every
we got that in the front room.
Like I know everything that they're about to do. I know the dance moves. I mean, I know it all. I had obsession galore. Big time. I mean, it was almost as worse than Hanson, like that obsession.
Oh yeah, it sounds worse than Hanson.
Yeah. And poor Joseph, I have to have him listen to Dream Street all the time, and he's just like, "Oh, again."
I can enjoy music I don't like.
Trust me. I can kind of side with Tonya on this because I was a huge fan of Dream Street. I didn't really watch All My Children. I really watched The Young and the Restless.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I grew up with my grandma watching, and when All My Children came on, she just changed the channel. But but for me growing up, Dream Street was a huge part of my childhood, and remains to be a huge part of my life. And
exactly.
And I don't know every move, but I do know some. I know it happens every time. I know that one pretty well, but I do know all the songs though. I know every song as well. So Jesse becomes this kid in a boy band, right? At a very, very young age. Were you able to see Dream Street?
I was never able to see them. And I was like, no, because, they were in New York around that, around that time. And it was like, come to Oklahoma. I want to see you. But, they never did. And I was like, oh, man. But.
Well, I mean, that's one of the worst things about it, right? And going back to Spice Girls and going back to these individuals that I didn't get to see. Even Backstreet Boys, right? The first time I saw Backstreet Boys was at the Vegas residency, like 5 years ago, and people are so shocked because of how big of a fan I am. Yep. And I'm like, they never came to New Orleans, so I couldn't go. So, obviously I don't think Dream Street came in New Orleans either, but okay. So he was in a boy band. And then he, of course, they broke up a year and a half, 2 years later or so.
Yeah.
But Jesse continued with his passion of music, and he became this huge thing. And was it Beautiful Soul in 2004?
Yep, it was.
Okay, so tell me about that era, and what's your reaction to seeing this boy. Not this kid, but this boy now,
It was cool because I think it was it was on his website, I think. And it was just like a little bitty video of him doing Beautiful Soul, and he was just walking around singing and everything, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And he was by himself and everything, but I was like, that's really cool that you can watch that before you really, you can watch YouTube and all that. So it was like, oh, wow. And then that stuck with me, and I was like, okay.
You were pretty much sold.
Yes, I was.
So
as much as I was devastated when Dream Street broke up, I had posters galore in my room growing up and everything. I mean, and then whenever they did with Play, like when Chris Truesdale was with Play, I had Play stuff. I mean, I just did it all.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's incredible.
And then they broke up, and then I was like so upset. I told my mom, I said, Dream Street just broke up. And she thought it was really something that was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then I went in my room, like, I kind of regret this, but I went in my room and tore all the pictures down. I was just devastated for like the longest. I was like, I can't believe they did that.
Oh man, I can't say.
Yeah, exactly. And then they did the biggest fan, the soundtrack to that. And
yep.
That YouTube.
Yeah, we watched that.
Oh yeah, I watched that last year. It's been years since I watched it, but yeah, I watched it through YouTube, and man, the memories just flooded back.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
So let's talk about your very first concert of Jesse Mccartney.
Actually, it was this one. I
what?
Never see him Dream Street either. It was like, and then I saw that he was going to come to Oklahoma City, and I was like, Joseph, we have to go see him. He was like, do we have to? Okay.
I mostly just didn't want to drive to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Away, so.
Yeah. Wow. So you got to see, is it called the New Stage Tour, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So you buy your tickets. The day is finally here. First of all, did you buy VIP? Did you get anything like that?
Yeah, we got the diamond package.
You didn't get I got my friends 175. You got the diamond package.
Truly 475 plus tax each.
Wow.
Plus tax.
No, it was 5. Yeah. So it was over.
That's wow. You
like,
guys
I had to do it because I didn't ever get to see Dream Street meet them or anything, and then Jesse never really came around Oklahoma area, so it was like I gotta see him.
Wow. So I'm really excited to hear this story, but let's go ahead and break it down. All right. So you get to the place, right? You buy this ultimate diamond package for VIP. What does it consist of?
So what the website said and then what happened when we first got there is you got a tote bag with a signed picture and a card, like a deck of cards with his face on it.
Ooh,
with
that's
the
cool.
New Stage logo. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we ended up buying her a shirt at the merchandise stand. And we first walked in. We got to go in first and jump line.
Because we were actually the only ones that did the biggest VIP.
Out of like 400, 500 people.
What?
We got to Oklahoma City so early. It was supposedly we had to get there at 4:30 to check in and all that stuff. Well, we got to Oklahoma City at like 2. We went out to eat and hung out, and we just tried to kill time throughout the day. And when it finally came, let's get there early. Maybe no one's there. And there's already 10 people standing outside. And it's like hours. And these were general admissions. So they had to wait 3 hours outside.
If not longer.
Before they could go in. And so when we got there, we stood in line. More people came. And eventually the tour manager came out and security. And then they said, all VIP on this side, all the general admission on the other side. And so they separated us. Well, we get to the VIP line and they're checking names. And then they go to check our name, and we weren't on the list. And they're like, maybe there's like a technical difficulty. And I was like, well, we bought them in February.
Wow.
We got our income tax. We used that to buy them. And so whenever they finally said, we'll just stand here over at the side, and we'll deal with you when we get through with everybody else. And so I looked on my phone, and I was like, oh, that's the name of the package. So I told her whenever she was done, I said, we got the Yours Truly package. And she was like, oh, and she flipped all the way to the back of the clipboard, and it had our names right there. She's like, oh, go inside. And so we got to go in front of everybody else when we went inside. And we sat there for about 20 minutes.
And no one was in there but us, which is really cool. Everyone was still waiting outside, so it was really cool.
So bad. It was like 96 degrees outside.
Yeah.
72 inside the venue.
It was great.
But we talked to the tour manager. I got 3 beers sitting there talking with her. And I guess Jesse was on a run or something. And so he had to take a shower and get ready. And so we waited on him. And then all of a sudden he came up behind us. And then we had a long conversation with him.
Yep.
Come on.
We talked to him for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. But it was funny because it was like, because, he was on my wall and everything. And then he's just smiling coming out. And then I just, was playing on my phone.
I was
playing on my phone and I just looked up and he was just smiling coming along. And I just looked up and said, hi, Jesse. Let's go to the room.
Oh, man. That's incredible.
Right next to us and just talked the whole time and wanted to get to know us. And it was like, oh my goodness. And then I told him how long I've been a fan and everything. And he was like, oh, wow. And then I said, poor Joseph, he has to listen to Dream Street a lot. And he was like, oh my gosh, sorry for you. Because I was so, back in the day. And
it was such a young part of his life,
Yes.
And I know we'll probably, I mean, besides the Chris Truesdell,
exactly.
tribute,
Yep.
I don't think we'll ever hear Jesse do
Nope.
it,
Nope.
and makes me kind of sad because,
I know, I was kind of hoping that he would at least put in "It Happens Every Time," just a little, or something like that. Dang it.
We ended up talking about football and our dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because he's a Giants fan, and we both forgot the name of the quarterback, Daniel Jones. And I said Jeff Daniels. The guy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, he's the quarterback. He's like, I don't think that's right. Like, oh, yeah. I mean, it might be. And I Googled it, and it was Daniel Jones.
She was like, Google it.
Wow. That's incredible. You guys got to actually, he took the time to talk to you guys. And I mean, it's incredible that you guys were the only ones. Like, you'll never forget that moment because he was completely focused on you. He didn't have to go to every group or every person.
And all the selfies we took with him.
Yeah, he was like, you want to take selfies? And he grabbed my phone and was just click, click, click. And I'm like, oh, it's like right here touching my phone.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an ultimate experience.
Yes.
It truly is. And which brings us to the concert itself, man. Me personally, I wasn't able to make the House of Blues New Orleans show. So I purchased a stream for $15 and we watched it for actually we watched it right after it ended. And it was amazing, but you guys had a different experience. You guys were actually there. So tell us a little bit about the concert and, maybe your favorite moments or your favorite songs, Right Where You Want Me, Just Saying. Make sure you mention that one.
Yeah.
So they allowed us to pick our standing section because we were the only ones there. And so they said, pick your stuff. Yep. And then as he was leaving.
Right here.
Yeah, exactly. As he was leaving, I said, we're going to ride the rail for you, buddy. Yeah. And as he walking away, and then surely we were standing there right in the front.
Yeah, but he was like, I'll be looking for you guys and everything.
We won't be too hard to find.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially, me standing there next to her. That definitely helped. But, the show was really good.
It was really good.
Tonya loved it.
Yeah.
Only thing was I'd never been front stage.
Me either.
I mean, face to face with the people singing. So I probably have to give a apology to Casey Bear. She was one of the opening.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't want to just stare at her because I wasn't really listening to the music. And I felt like it was a little disingenuous of me, staring at her, listening to it when I'm really not. So I would have a bad habit of looking around and wandering. And then after the show, I couldn't help it. I couldn't focus on her. Plus my wife's sitting next to me, so I can't watch some girl dance around.
Yeah.
So, this is a little weird. But then after her set, when she was walking amongst the crowd taking pictures and stuff, it may have just been me, but it looked like it was an annoyed lock eyes.
Oh no!
She kept walking. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. So it may have just been me making too big of a deal out of it. But it felt like there was a little bit of animosity in her eyes. So Casey Berry, I don't know if she'll hear this or not, but if she does, I apologize.
She'll probably hear it. Yeah. Well, what was some of your favorite moments while watching the concert?
Oh my goodness, when he did Bleeding Love, it gave me chills.
Oh, Jimmy Miller was pretty good.
Yeah, Jimmy Miller. But yeah, because I actually didn't know that he wrote that until I Googled it. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, Bleeding Love? Yeah, I had no idea either.
Yeah. And he just sings it so good, just the slow stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Isn't it crazy that he had to fight to try and get that on his album?
Yes,
and they were like, no, it's not.
And then it becomes one of the biggest songs of the decade.
It won't be a hit. It's not going to be a hit. No way. It's crazy.
Then it owns the radio for 5 years.
Yes.
Literally, you could turn it on right now. It might possibly be one of the same
local
on the radio.
Right now.
What about you, Joe? What's one of your favorite moments, man?
I definitely enjoyed the. I'm not going to say the end. I definitely enjoyed the whole thing. The thing as a whole, I enjoyed the whole experience. I didn't like all the music. I mean, some of his songs I do like, and then Lemonade from his new album. That's a good song as well.
Yes, it is.
So I really enjoyed that one. So I can't pick one individual moment that I enjoyed, but I definitely like the experience of standing up front being so loud. The girls behind me,
Yeah.
beside me, on the other side,
Man.
the amplifiers right here. Like
Yeah.
when it first started, and I had pounded them tall boys quick, and so I kind of get a little bit of a headache, like everything combined.
Yeah.
But as the show kind of moved on, it was just like a nice, like collective feeling of you can just feel just the fun and the love, like everything combined.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a good aura.
And how Jesse just loves his music.
Yeah,
like
he was
just smiling. I mean, you can tell he just loves that. Like he just
for sure.
smiling, and it was just like he loves doing what he does.
Oh no, 100%. Even the live stream, I could tell he's just enjoying himself up on the stage. And the only complaint, I do have a complaint, and I will address this directly to anyone, but like my only complaint was he didn't do Because You Live.
I know that was my favorite song.
That is my absolute. That and Right Where You Want Me are my two favorites. And Beautiful Soul, of course, but take out Beautiful Soul. Those two are my absolute
I know.
favorite.
I thought he was gonna do like a little bit more from the Beautiful Soul CD, but I was like, dang it,
but this is a tour of his new CD.
Know, but he's back, like old school, and I'm like, he might be doing a little bit more.
It was funny whenever we were talking to him initially. He asked, "What's your favorite, Tonya? What's your favorite song from the new CD?" He's like, "Oh, I love all of them."
I do.
And in my mind, I'm like, "That's the answer you give when you didn't listen to the CD."
Yeah, that is definitely
That's probably not a good idea to just say, "Oh, all of them are great."
Well,
Yeah.
Song, he would. I mean, he could be just standing there. I'd be like, but
She probably likes Body Language, right?
Yes, I love that one.
That's one that the girls go crazy about. And no, I mean, I grew up with watching Disney, and Right Where You Want Me was a theme song of Halloween Town 2 or 3 with the Academy when they went to the school. And I just remember seeing that on replay, nonstop on TV, Right Where You Want Me, and the whole music video. And
and then he was on Stuck in the Suburbs too. That movie.
That's true.
And Get Your Shine On.
Oh yeah, Get Your Shine On. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Wow.
So like, oh my gosh, he's on that. Like the song, and I was like, all right.
And he didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it.
Maybe he was asking you what's your favorite song because he wanted to sing it to you that night.
Yes.
So he just did all of them.
And I was very sad though about Dream Street. I was like, maybe just a little for me because I, the VIP, the big stuff, but no.
We did give you $1,000.
Yeah. I gotta take this one to you guys, or something like that.
Oh, trust me, I actually, I really considered getting the VIP and things like that. It was a sold out show too at the House of Blues. I'm sure it's the same for you guys. It was sold out. And
there were so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible, right? To see these people who love their craft, who continue doing their craft, who evolve with their craft and with the time. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I'm super glad you guys had an amazing time. Absolutely jealous that, everything you've experienced is what I wanted to experience.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to pay the $500, and then there would be like 10 other people with me because I think it was like maximum 15.
15's max,
I should have just went to y'all's show. Man, that would have been crazy.
And then we got the pictures at the end, but that was the standard VIP.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it
we got to
cool
cut in line for that.
Yeah, we got to cut in line.
Is it sad? That's my favorite part. Cutting in line for everybody.
The end. Like you said, I'm not going to say the end, but
And then we were, waiting to get our picture taken with them, and I'd kind of peek around because you never know when they're going to be done with it because they were really, really rushing people. Like, you're taking a picture,
click,
that's it. Like, don't do anything else. And so I kept looking, and then when he saw us, he was like, "Hi, Tonya. Hi, Joe. Did you guys enjoy the concert?" It was like, you remember their names.
That's incredible. I mean, I don't think he can ever forget you guys. You guys are the only ones who paid for the ultimate.
Oklahoma City, he's going to be like, they were really cool.
I told him to come to Tulsa so I don't have to drive so far.
He'll never forget you guys.
No, not at all.
He's like my two fans.
Yes.
My two ultimate VIPs, Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks
it's been
again for having us.
An absolute blast. I always tell people that they're absolutely welcome to come back, and we've only scratched the surface of things. And
we've been to a lot of boy band concerts. So
you
see, I mean, that's the best thing about it is being able to talk to, and every conversation is just different, like completely different, because we have so much to discuss, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
the whole life they've lived, they can share it with somebody.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and lots of the best things you could do with those experiences that you do, especially with concerts, is share them. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Until next time, my friends, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to having you guys again. And people will love this episode. People will just, we really threw it back with this episode, and
I hope everyone
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It happens every time.
It happens every time. I'm just saying, man. Every time. But this is the Frack and Friend Show, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I know you guys can't listen. You can just watch and listen. But thank you guys so much for the love and support.